procrastinate, what is actually going on there? Well, in order to explain that, I'm going to use what's called the Cognitive Behavioural Model. I suppose don't be put off by the technical sounding psychological language. Cognitive just refers to our thinking, and behavioural has just got to do with our action. So you can think of it as the thinking and acting model. So in the Cognitive Behavioural Model, we've got three possible responses to a situation. We have emotions, or we feel. We have thoughts or beliefs, or we think. And we have behaviours, or we act. So around any given situation, we feel, we think, and we act. So for example, if you wake up tomorrow morning and suddenly you've got 50 emails in your inbox, maybe you might think, oh, I don't want to do this. Maybe you feel a little bit anxious or frustrated. And so off you go and watch YouTube or cat videos on YouTube. You know? So around any given situation, we have emotions, thoughts, and behaviours. You know? So another important aspect of the cognitive behavioural model is that these thoughts, emotions, and behaviours, they all interact and affect each other. So they influence each other. So for example, how we feel can really affect how we think and how we behave. So I don't know if you've ever been really, really angry and maybe you've thought some terrible things about the person you're angry with. Or if you've ever been really angry, maybe you've said some very terrible things and that afterwards you kind of maybe regret. So how we feel can really affect how we think and how we behave. Another important aspect of this model is that how we behave can really affect how we feel and how we think. So for example, I don't know if you've ever done any public speaking or something, but that afterwards you feel really, really proud. So I remember the first time I spoke in public afterwards, I was okay, this feels great. Maybe I can keep doing this again. And so how we behave can really affect how we feel and how we think. Now, a very important relationship in this model is that our thoughts and beliefs influence how we feel and how we behave. So I suppose another way of thinking about it is that our emotions and our behaviors are a consequence of our thoughts or beliefs. And this can help explain why two people in the exact same situation can have very different emotional and behavioral reactions. So for example, imagine those 50 emails come into someone's inbox. Person one thinks, oh, this could mean good news. Maybe it's clients that I'm going to get sales on, or maybe it's stuff I'm going to get. And as a result, they feel happy or excited and they open up those emails. Someone else, on the other hand, could think maybe they've had some bad experiences and got some bad emails lately, and they could see those 50 emails and go, oh, this could mean bad news. And as a result, they feel a little bit anxious or frustrated, and so they don't open up the emails. Yeah. So what the cognitive behavioral model puts forward is that we got a trigger in the environment, or we have a situation. I suppose what we often think of is we've got those 50 emails, or we've got that trigger, and as a result, we feel certain things and we act in certain ways. You know? But the cognitive behavioral model is saying it's a little bit more complicated than that. So we've got that trigger in the environment. We have thoughts and beliefs around it, or we attach a meaning to the trigger. We attach a meaning to those emails. And as a result, we do certain things and we feel certain things. So we have thoughts, feelings, and behaviors around any situation. These all interact. And a very important, I suppose, interaction here is that our thoughts or beliefs, or the meaning we attach to a situation, makes us feel certain ways and act in certain ways. Okay, so third and final point about the cognitive behavioral model is that there's different levels of thought or belief that affect our emotions and our behaviors. So you always think of your thoughts as like an onion. There's different layers to them. So the surface layer on the outside is what's called an automatic thought. And an automatic thought is like the descriptive voice going through your head at any given moment, or the stream of consciousness kind of describing what's going on. Yeah. So for example, when we get to 50 emails, maybe there's that descriptive voice is saying, you know, oh, I don't want to do this. Sometimes people say to me, you know, I don't have a descriptive voice, or I don't have a stream of consciousness describing what's going on. And I always tell them, the voice that's telling you, you don't have a stream of consciousness, or you don't have that descriptive voice, that's the voice I'm talking about. Okay? So we have automatic thoughts. If we start asking why around those automatic thoughts, you know, why are we having them? So if we ask ourselves the question, you know, I don't want to do this, and why don't we want to do it? And we start to get answers that kind of mention our causes. So you might say, you know, I don't want to do this because it's annoying. I really shouldn't have to answer all these emails. And what we're getting at there is what's called an underlying belief. And an underlying belief is like the next layer of thought. And so they kind of create the automatic thoughts. And an underlying belief is like a rule or an attitude or an assumption about ourselves, about other people, or about how the world works. So really what it is, it's a story we're telling ourselves around any given situation, you know. And the reason this is important in relation to procrastination is that the narrative or story we tell ourselves is what's leading us to feel certain emotions like anxiety, frustration, or boredom, which in turn is leading us to procrastinating behaviours. And I'll cover these stories in the next video.